Hey guys, what's up, man? Welcome back here on Daily Evolutions. Hey, and I know it's been a long time since I dropped a video. Well, a long time in my estimation, because I would like to do like maximum 3 days, 5 days. When I initially started this, I thought I'd do one every day. But then, just on this journey of semen retention, man, you realize that like you need to find many ways of transmuting your energy. And for me, despite making the videos, like I felt that there's so much more that I needed to do. And I'll explain in context later on as to what I mean by transmuting and why I needed to do that. Just meaning that by transmute I mean finding other things to transfer all this like built up, life force energy, sexual energy, just so that you can actually so that it doesn't become like detrimental. When you have too much pressure in one place, it could be detrimental. You know that, right? Too much pressure in a tire can make it pop, but just the right amount makes sure that your vehicle is running like smoothly. But I'll speak about that later, just explaining as to transmutation. But I'm back here, man, and I have an important video, an important message to actually share with y'all. See the dog coming in the background. I have an important message to share with y'all, man. And today's one is actually going to be about semen retention and wet dreams. Yeah. You heard that correctly, man. Wet dreams. Another name for wet dreams I recently found out I didn't know this, is actually nocturnal emissions, and it makes sense, right? You're emitting fluid at night nocturnally. And if you see me looking down, I'm just reading like my notes to see if I have everything that I plan to say out. But yeah, it's about wet dreams and all called nocturnal emissions, man. Now, I want to talk about whether it actually counts as a relapse, because I recently, and I'll speak about this maybe later in this video or in the next video, but I recently went through one, and hence I asked myself this question, but to actually get the answer, I had to go and read through, a bunch of material, look at other YouTubers that I follow who are on the semen retention journey and see what they think, And what I realized is, in short, the answer is no. If you emit your semen, your life force, during your sleep, nocturnally, it's not a relapse, You still have your streak going, you're good. It is only the intentional sexual acts, the ones that consciously you're aware of, the immoral acts, those are the ones that count as relapses. Because you're fully ejaculating, right? Think about if you're masturbating, your shit flies out, Same thing as if you're actually, doing the deed. Your shit's flying out, like a whole lot of it too, because you're reaching to this really intense level of climax, the chemical reaction within your brain leads to it exaggerates everything. You're feeling the warmth of another, if you're into the female, the female body. If you're into a female, you're feeling the warmth of her inside. It's a pleasurable thing. There's not much more pleasurable than that, even though it's just for that small amount of time. So point is, yeah, man, that is a relapse. And if you want to argue or if you're not sure if there's a difference between just the minor ejaculation that you get during a wet dream or during a nocturnal emission, and as opposed to during sex or while fapping, think of someone who has a drinking problem, right? They've been alcoholic and they're trying to quit. Say they've quit for 6 months, they're on this streak. Now they go to bed thinking about it, or they don't, and they just subconsciously have it in their mind and they dream about it. Now they dream about alcohol and they actually drink. You tell me, does that mean the person relapsed in reality? No, it doesn't, right? And it's the similar concept that I'm trying to explain with relapsing on semen retention by having a wet dream. It just isn't the same, Now, like I explained before in other videos, but you can also think logically, the actual intentional sexual immoral acts relapsing, leading to relapses masturbation, watching porn and masturbating, or just having immoral sex. Say immoral, just random sex, just how can I say, giving into your lustful desires. You know what we do. If you're just doing that, it's not really with the intention of finding your wife or getting. You already have your wife, and you guys are just becoming one. Then, yeah, man, that is really, really detrimental to you on this like semen retention journey, bro. I'm not even gonna lie. And you can think about that. Like anytime a guy like releases, man, like the amount of life force energy that you've built up, like so much of it goes. Um, maybe I should use an example with this water, man. Say you look. This is an example with this water. Say you've been retaining for a long time. Yeah. Look, this is the water that you've built up, or the semen, like in your body. Now, in a wet dream, what happens is exactly this. You have all this life force energy built up, but there's so much that it starts overflowing. But do you see that your cup is still full, bro? Hold on, drink. You see that your glass or your cup is still full, right? That means you haven't really lost anything. You've only gained. Now, the body does this by itself too. You know that, right? Like it's like recycling. The body tries to. Well, I'll explain that in a bit, but you come up to this point because you've been building up all this life force energy, and like if you haven't transmuted it, as I explained, like transferred it into other areas of your life, like whether it's creative endeavors or sports, working out, or your spiritual practice, whether it be meditating, whether it be getting closer to God in whatever form that is, fasting. If you're a Muslim, it's Ramadan right now. It's the same kind of thing, but you're building. You have a lot of excess, in fact, of life force energy. Now look at what happens when you actually release this shit into someone, or if you masturbate. Look at that. Now you wonder why your glass is half empty, right? Now you wonder why after you do that you feel full of shame, you feel sluggish, you feel like you can't remember like exactly what it is that got you there in that moment. You like if you look at men, guys and girls will know this. Like a man who's just like ejaculated, whether watching porn or someone else has done it for him, or he's actually like ejaculated within the female, you'll see that he'll be tired, man. He'll just want to curl up into bed and sleep, probably. It's a bit of shame, but it's also the chemical reaction of just having less life force energy within you. That's why most men will want to drink again, or will want to lead to whatever habit. They might want to go for a smoke immediately, or commonly you see this one. They just want to eat whatever kind of like bad food they can get, like a comfort food, just to have that feeling of comfort when there's discomfort within, disease. Of the mind, leading to you doing morbid, dirty stuff in the flesh. I'm not trying to be judgmental, but like on the spiritual level, this is really what it is. That's why, like in the Bible, it says like sex is only there for, should be used for reproduction only, right? And it took me a long time to get there, so I'm not trying to speak like I'm all holier than thou, because I've made all these mistakes too, and that's why I'm each one teach one, right? That's why I'm trying to teach this right now. But anyway, this is the difference, man. So back to you on your retention journey, man. Full. Been doing it for a long time. You're gonna be full. I'm gonna hold this here, man, as a representation. So yeah, like I explained, when it overflows in your dream state or during a wet dream, it's just an excess of seminal fluid, man. Your body tries to obtain homeostasis all the time. Like it tries to get to the right level. Like if you have too much semen that the body doesn't know what to do with, it's gonna be like, it's gonna freak out essentially, and be like, yo, I need to let some of this out. So that you can think of it as just the unclean, the ones that the body didn't know what to do with, or it was in excess. The same thing happens in any kind of plant, man. You put too much water in a plant, it's gonna drain out the excess and only take what it needs, right? It might even leach some of the essential nutrients that the plant needs with it. If it's too much water, it might leach out, or lead through erosion. You know how this shit works. Now, homeostasis, man. See, it let out that water because it's trying to get to a balanced point, the point that it understands. Not this like, yeah. It's like, think of a volcano. Like think of that eruption. That's what happens like during like a wet dream. So hope back to homeostasis, man. It's just that, think of as well an example of homeostasis. It's just the body trying to find balance. Think about when you're excessively hot, you start sweating, right? So that's the body trying to find homeostasis. It's trying to come back down to a neutral level. The sweat coming out through your pores is trying to, the point is for it to cool down the surface of your body, making you feel cooler. Yeah, that's what happens. Same thing, opposite, vice versa. When you're cold, you get what do you call these things? Goosebumps, and you start shivering, right? And that's the body also trying to find homeostasis. It's trying to like create movement to like heat itself up, heat itself up again. So yeah, man, that's all that's happening. And yeah, man, another thing that I have on these notes is just that if you are having these dreams, just know that your inner astral body that's been working, body, I say, yeah, your inner astral self, but that's what's happening in the mind, that's yourself, right? It's all in here, right? So your inner astral body, which is in your mind, is working subconsciously and has actually attacked your physical body in your dream. It's like, if something that can come out in the physical state, it's gonna go into the subconscious and then in another form manifest physically, however, the law of thermodynamics. I learned this in like grade 9, the ESS, we call it, environmental systems and sciences. First law of thermodynamics states that energy is not created or destroyed, it is only transferred. So yeah, the wet dreams, transfer of energy that you've had inside. You've been thinking sexual thoughts, man. So this gets me back to like the causes of these wet dreams. It could either be that you've been having psychological pollution or pathological pollution, and I'm gonna just open up the internet so that you can see the actual definition. I'll read it. Pathological, relating to pathology involving or caused by physical or mental disease, right? So think of pathological pollution versus psychological pollution, physiological rather, relating to the way in which an organism or bodily part functions, right? So what I've been explaining as the natural state of the body to try and find homeostasis, that's the words, man. That's physiological pollution, so you polluted your body. My notes. You've polluted your body like physiologically, probably unintentionally, but that's because you haven't been releasing, so the natural bodily functions of your organisms, your prostate glands, like where your prostate, man, these flies, the prostate, the balls, where semen is made, that is overflowed, and then naturally it releases. But the bad cause of you having wet dreams, you should know the difference. If it's physiological pollution that led you to a wet dream, you're okay. Like, it's normal, like men go through puberty, like it doesn't stop. Just like women's puberty stops at menopause, when they can no longer give birth. A man's puberty also doesn't just stop when he's like 20 or 18. Starts at like maybe 14, 15, 16 for the late ones, and it ends like just around like your 30s, so it's normal. Like, you're still going through all these things. Now if you're doing semen retention, like your body, you are putting your body to the next level. You're forcing it to have to find ways to actually release and find that balance, the natural balance, because you have set that threshold at a different level because of how much semen you've now retained. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, know that. Another thing I want you guys to think about before I end this video, because it's getting too long, is just how frequently are you having these dreams, man. So if you're having these wet dreams like several times a month, once a week, twice a week, several times a year, like, then you know that it's probably pathological pollution. It's related to some kind of dis-ease, mental disorder, or even physical disorder, where you haven't been, or rather you have been thinking about immoral things too much. You've been lustful, you've been living in your lower chakras and your desires, you've been watching a lot of porn, you've been thinking about, obsessing about whoever your favorite, whoever it is, man, that you desire, in a really like bad, immoral way. So like all that stuff is in your subconscious, but it's coming out in a way of dis-ease, because it's not normal, right? That's why it's the pathological is dis-ease, like it relates to dis-ease of the physical or mental bodies. Whereas if it's once in a while, it's probably physiological. I have to get the word right the whole time. But also think about your triggers, man. Some people, like, yeah, you might be triggered by an ex that you know you've been having sex with for a long time. Now she calls you, or you see her, or she posts a picture online, and you have those thoughts again. Or it's a favorite celebrity on that you like. You see, you're on Instagram, and you're looking at all these cheeks clapping. You're looking at all the skin exposed, and that's right. It's on your subconscious, and now you're having wet dreams constantly, man. Probably something wrong. You know what I mean? Like, watch your triggers. Think about what happened that day that led you to have that dream. Think about your triggers. Also, your intention. What are you focused on? It's similar to triggers, but no, this is just you. You're focused. Like, are you focused on things in the worldly realm? Are you focused on lustful desires? Are are you watching TV and you're watching these music videos and you don't even know it, but all you're being told is I'm gonna hit this strip club. I'm gonna do this. I'm that. Like all that kind of stuff. Like all that stuff plays on you, man. And then, yeah, could be causing you to have wet dreams. Also, I'm gonna talk about transmuting that energy to avoid having wet dreams, like often or even at all, if that's possible. But I'm gonna stop this video and I'm gonna catch you on the next one, man.